Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. I'm really excited about this one. So, this is Anmol. He's a good friend of mine. We're actually interning together at Tabby right now as AI engineers. But the reason why I invited him to this podcast is because he has participated in a lot of hackathons, and among them, he's won a lot. I mean, when I say a lot, I mean like he's won like 20 grand of prize money all in 1 year. And I've been genuinely bugging him forever to just sit down and walk me through how he actually did it. So we're finally doing it now. And Anmol, thanks for humoring me. And welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Aman. Thanks for inviting me. And you've not been bugging. Even I've been bugging him for getting me on podcast and just restarting his journey.
Awesome. Yeah, that is true. He's not been bugging me. He's been trying to motivate me a lot to get on this, get back into recording because I really do enjoy making these episodes out. But sometimes life does happen and you're busy with it, so you don't get time. But okay, so let's just start from the beginning. I really do just want to understand, before you were winning these hackathons, when did you decide that you wanted to participate in your first hackathon, and like what prompted you to do so?
So I did my undergrad at Vellore Institute of Technology, Vellore. And when I started, I didn't have much experience on hands-on coding, for example, web development. And some friends, a few friends around me, they were very, I would say, skilled in that, and they had built products and other stuff. So that inspired me to participate in one of the first hackathons. And I remember it distinctly that it was Dev Jams by Google Student Club at a college. And it was just first year, first semester, and it was a weekend hackathon. And I was just excited to just understand what goes in it and how things take place and what is it all about. And obviously, I'm a kind of person who likes to build stuff, and so that was kind of cherry on the top. And yeah, I assembled a team with my friends and we just went into it without thinking twice.
So did you win it, or what happened to the first one?
So we didn't win it, but I'd say we did good because we moved into like into the other rounds when we thought that we might not even be able to clear round one. And the friends that I'm talking about who knew hands on, even they couldn't clear the first round. So I was a little elated by that, and a little I thought I achieved a little.
I mean, my first hackathon experience was actually pretty bad, I would say, because nothing really happened. We just went there for the food, I guess, because we were told that hackathons give you free food and free swags. We just went there for that, and we didn't really build anything because back then, when we were in undergrad, I think there was no ChatGPT or Claude. But I guess it was fun because you just went around seeing what other people did. And then I think after the first one, when you participate in the first one, when you see other people getting so motivated to build something, you also want to do something of your own. The second time around, we started building it. We had a lot of fun. But I think that's where a lot of, I think at least engineers get that drive of building products or creating new things sometimes because it's kind of an open platform for everyone. So at least I think that's my case. But yeah, that sounds cool. I guess everyone has a story of their first hackathon.
I think the hackathons, what they carry with themselves is one of the main things is make people think outside the box and make them think what else could they do with the idea that they have. Even us, we went into it without any coding skills, but again
Hmm.
we figured out a way. So I remember I used Wix site because we didn't know how to code. We use that to just sort of put together a website, a kind of dashboard to put forward our idea, even though the idea that we were trying to implement that included having IoT sensors and others hardware stuff. And we were in first year, first semester, we didn't have an idea about that. So it
Yeah.
was kind of a good experience just to figure out. how can we navigate this situation when we don't know much.
I don't even know. I didn't even know what IoT sensors were back then. I swear to God, we just used to see what other people are doing. We thought it was so damn fancy. But I think we've come a long way since then. All right. Tell me something. Like before you even wrote like a single line of code, I kind of really want to understand because, okay, before moving there, I know the backstory that you won 6 hackathons back to back in 1 year. So I wanted to extract that system and for this episode. And I want to understand, even before going to that first on, let's say, I know it was 2021 where you won 6 hackathons. So I don't want to just directly jump there. I want to first understand how do you decide which hackathons were even worth participating in?
Yeah, great question. I'd say one of the first things that I look at is who is the organization that is conducting that hackathon, whose name is it on it. And that matters because ultimately you're, suppose you win that hackathon, you're going to put that on your resume, on your profile, and that should be a good name for people to understand what is the value of the hackathon that you've won. For example, I won the Red Hat hackathon, and that is one of the companies that is recognized by everyone in the software industry. So winning that kind of hackathon puts an immense amount of value on your resume. Another thing that I look into is the kind of track that they have, because it should fit your idea, it should fit your interests, and if it doesn't, then you should pass on that. Another filter I would say is the number of participants, and this is more of a practical tip because many people think that we would manage, but ultimately you should know your competition and who you are competing with. Then I'd say the length of the hackathon also matters, and a weekend hackathon is, although it needs lesser hours compared to a month long or week long hackathon, but the competition is also high because of that. So you should consider that as a factor. So we just didn't pick up hackathons just like that. We picked the hackathons that we knew we had a good chance of winning. And
Okay.
that narrows down, and that increases your probability of winning a hackathon by a large amount.
Okay. Now, so you said, so I'll just break it down for the audience. So you're saying first you need to understand who is the organization organizing the hackathon. So or somebody who's sponsoring the hackathon, who are they? So you said you took part in Red Hat hackathon because that adds immense value to something like your own resume. You need to understand the track, or if the tracks are any something sort of related to your ideas that you have in your head, or something that interests you, and you need to understand the number of participants out there. You need to know your competition basically. So if it's a weekend long hackathon, the competition is high and there's a higher chance that you could possibly lose. So you take all of these factors into account while basically deciding on which hackathon you need to take a part into.
Right. And one last thing I'd mention is the prize pool. It's not
Hmm.
exactly a factor that I'd put my mind on when deciding which hackathon to take part in. But again, it's kind of why, like, it's some part of the equation why you are participating in the hackathon.
Okay.
So that also comes into factor sometimes, but not there most of the times.
What would you say would be the most important thing? And also clarify one thing when you say length of hackathon, which is better, the weekend one or the month-long ones?
If I had to give my preference, because the hackathons that I won, those were mostly month long or 2 months long or even longer. So
Hmm.
because they were long format hackathons and we had time to properly look how we could build a project and exactly how to go about it, from like giving time to all the phases of a product implementation. So from designing, from brainstorming, giving that time, then designing, and then implementing, and then testing, validating, and then pitching. So we had time for all that, and we were not always in rush as you are in a weekend hackathon, and you are just trying to get there, build your product, implement it as quickly as possible. So definitely, I'd prefer a long format.
All right. And you never mentioned anything about teams. Were you just participating solo in all of these?
So I was part of a group of three, and those were my friends as well as my neighbors in my hostel in
Hmm.
college
Yeah.
undergrad. So we had a good bond. We all three came from Uttar Pradesh, UP.
Hmm.
So the same region and same kind of culture, same kind of vibe. So that is also a very important factor when you are participating in a hackathon. Not
Okay.
that it depends on the hackathon, but it depends on your team, how it will perform in the hackathon. And
Hmm.
it increases your chances of winning a hackathon by so much if you have a good synergy amongst your team.
Hmm. Okay. So I'm guessing bonding between teammates is not the only thing people should focus on while building their team because I guess personally for me, a lot of the times I've participated, a lot of people, let's say, are not on the same level as you, or you might not be the same level as them. So a discrepancy happens over there because somebody tries to take charge a lot. So, like, what kind of things did you look into while picking a team, or is it mostly just friends at this point?
Yeah, so I'd say first of all, I'd like to clear that I didn't pick a team. And you have to understand that people come together and everyone in the team has to have the same kind of determination and same kind of willpower to push through and get the things done basically.
Hmm.
And that is what makes a team great. It's not the credentials that you have, it's not the work experience that you have, it's the personality of the team members. And
So,
you
just
can,
to clarify,
yeah,
so you're saying, like, when I asked you bonding, so you're saying bond more than bonding, mindset should be similar compared in,
right, right.
okay,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. You all in the team should enhance each other's capabilities through either constructive criticism or giving feedback to each other, and the other person should take it positively itself.
Hmm.
So that goes a long way, and that keeps the team motivated and high in energy as well.
Okay. So mindset is one, but what should people actually look in for a team? Let's say I'm someone who just came into development and I don't really have friends of the same mindset. Or let's say I'm just somebody new in the neighborhood, new in the school. I really don't know anyone. How do I make a team? What factors do I look into when I make a team? Mindset is one, but how do I,
Right.
let's say I
Okay,
can't figure that part out.
you're talking from the skills perspective.
Yeah, from the skills perspective.
Okay. So if you talk from skills perspective again, I'd say now the moot is the idea. It's not it's not your coding skills. Obviously, your communication skills, soft skills matter, especially when you're pitching your idea and presenting your idea, creating demo videos. But again, until and unless the mindset and the bonding is great amongst the team, it won't come out. Even the skills, coding skills, the communication, presentation, all those skills, even if a person has, it won't come out in a way that would look great if the team is not good and the team does not let that person do the work properly. So what I'm trying to say is skills are not as important as the mindset and the synergy.
Okay. But what do I do if somebody, let's say it's a AI hackathon, and all my friends, none of them have any kind of, let's say, Gen AI capabilities or agentic AI experience. or any kind of applied AI or research AI, something related to AI. No experience is there in our team. And what do we do if we want to take part in our hackathon? Do we try to scout someone over there, or do we try to just try to learn everything on our own on the go, try to do something using videos?
I'd say from the technical point of view, now that you have these coding tools and
Hmm.
these AI assistants, you can just use these assistants and coding tools to get your work done. And apart from this, again, you know the idea and you know what goes behind the idea and what features you're going to implement for your product. You can use these tools to get the things done. And yeah, I'd say that's about it, about the skills that you need in your team.
So your main
This
point in
basically,
building is.
yeah, basically this landscape has changed a lot. It used to be different back 3 4 years back, 2 3 years back.
Hmm.
But now that you know what you have to do, the gap has been filled by AI, the skills gap.
Okay, got it. So basically, you're saying mindset is the most important thing from what I get. Because right now, because of AI, we are going into a place where I think ideation is more important than trying to get to a solution. Hackathons are also events where you don't have to build something really technically advanced. You just need something to put in those nuts and bolts together, get a solid project MVP out very quickly. So I'm guessing that's what your point is, right? So not to worry about the skills because you might have these coding tools and trying to go towards people who are actually like-minded and who actually want to win and who have that skill and mindset of building a good product, thinking about customers beforehand.
Right. Because earlier it used to be a coding assessment.
Hmm.
The format of a hackathon was kind of like that, where the coding skills were also getting assessed in the form of your product,
Hmm.
the implementation of the product. But now that everyone has AI coding tools, people just want to look at your product, not your coding skills.
Hmm. Got it. All right. So this is about how do you decide which hackathons to participate in and how to build a team for a hackathon. Now, let's say we did all of that. What's the next step in a hackathon? Like, I'm guessing the next step is basically just building the product. Then what's after that? What happens after you build a product?
So after you build the product, one of the most important thing that you do in a hackathon is a demo video or an elevator pitch, or if you are presenting your product, how to present that, preparing slides. So the presentability in the
Hmm.
hackathon is one of the most important criteria that you are judged on. And
Hmm.
ultimately, the judges are going to look at how you are presenting your product.
Hmm.
And the first impression, as the saying goes, the first impression is the last impression. You have to make fullest use of that opportunity that you have got to show your product. So after your product is done, just focus on creating a great demo for the product and just showing the world what your product is about, and making it as presentable as it could.
So, can I add one point? When you say presentation is becoming very important, would having a team member who is really good in presentation skills, when I say presentation skills, I mean making attractive PPTs, breaking down these PPTs into these complex things into simple subtopics, or being able to present those topics verbally very well in front of judges. Having one team member who's really good be a good addition to basically a team where, as you said, the landscape of AI, landscape of hackathons is also changing because of AI. So having someone right now who is just actually let's say, a master orator could make a lot of difference because even if you have, let's say, a bad idea, if someone can present it in a way that's really impressive, could maybe help them stand out.
Of course, someone with great communication skills and just that creativity of putting things forward in a nice way. Of course, that goes a long way and that helps in a hackathon.
Okay.
Uh, and it's not that you have to set out and find specifically that kind of person that could do that, because communication is a thing that anyone could master. and
Hmm.
and and if you're creative enough, you could design your script for the demo. And
Hmm.
for this instance I'm talking about, in hackathons you can create a script, you can modify it, you can get feedback from others, and just go about it. And if you practice enough times, you'll obviously get there.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's not a hard and fast rule to get someone
Hmm.
who's like find
Got
someone
it.
with skills.
Got it. And I'm also really curious, what basically consists of a good demo video, or what, or like how do you decide what gets put in that demo or what gets cut out of it?
So for a demo video, I'd say it is an
Not
iterative.
just a demo video, it could be a PPT, it could be anything. Like whatever presentation material that you have to present or do. Yeah.
So for a demo, I'd say you should show your product in such a way that it's eye-catching to the judges,
Hmm.
because you don't get enough, like a good amount of time to show the product. They have a lot of products to look at,
Hmm.
and you have to make the most out of the time that you get. So just
Hmm.
put in the demo video that the features that you have built that are really eye catching. And here I'd like to point out that there's a bottom up approach and a top down approach. I go with the top down approach, where you build a product based on the demo that you're going to show. So that is my
Okay.
approach to building products in
Can you
hackathon.
elaborate on that a bit?
Right. So when I say that you have to build your products based on the demo that you're going to show, that means the features that you are going to build, that have to be eye catching.
Hmm.
So idea that you are going to implement, that has to be kind of that kind of idea where you could build these kind of features. So, for example, in one of our hackathons, we implemented sentiment analysis in our product. It was a video analysis platform, and we implemented that, and we could show in our demo that this is a feature that we had, and that was kind of eye-catching feature, and judges loved it. That we were doing that sentiment analysis way beyond our time. So
Hmm.
I'm talking about 2021. And at that time they loved it, and we put this in our demo, and of course we was I think runner up in that hackathon.
Hmm.
So I'm talking about this kind of approach that you could put while building a product, and then making that demo, and putting these features in your demo.
Okay. Got it. All right. So from our discussion before starting even the podcast, or like when you were discussing to make this podcast, so you told me that you had two different project wins on the same month, and you already told me that you're more invested in hackathons where they're like a month long or more than a month, at least they're not a weekend long. So you participated in the hackathons with two different projects. One was organized by Symbol AI, one by DataStax, and you build the projects. So no reusable code bases. All of them were two different code bases, and you guys won both of them. So, like, tell me something. How does one person do that? Because winning two back to back is a bit hard. From what I've seen, from whatever I've participated in, a lot of people use the same repetitive ideas or use the same code bases in a lot of places
Hmm.
because people kind of know that, like, if you pick this idea, this is something the judges already like, this problem statement. If you build something around that, you'll probably win again. So you had two different ideas, two different projects, two different code bases. Like, what happened there?
Okay, so we participated in Symbol AI and DataStax. So Symbol AI, I'd say it ran from July to September. It was 2.5 months long hackathon, and data stacks kind of landed in between this window, within this window, I think around the start of September. So all in all, we started building a product for Symbol AI, which was Vishleshan, and it was a
Hmm.
video analyzing platform. And we started implementation of that, and we had a long duration of time to build that.
Hmm.
Now we participated in data stacks in the middle of that period, and the product that we used in data stacks, that was not the same product, but it was an inspired product from the first one,
Okay.
from Vishleshan. So the second one was Analyza, which was an interview prep platform where, again, the inspiration was that the interviewee would be analyzed, their video would be analyzed, and based on that, they will be getting feedback on the performance in the interview. So, kind of mock interview prep platform.
Hmm. Got it.
So, yeah, so it played out well for us because we got a kind of a feedback from the data stacks hackathon, which ended before Symbol AI, and then we use that feedback in our
Hmm.
the Vishleshan product, and improved our product basically. We stood second in Symbol AI.
So Symbol AI ran from July to September, and DataStack is the start of September.
Yeah,
So okay, July.
either
Okay, got
either
it.
either start of September or like in July. I don't.
Okay. So and you got feedback for Symbol AI, which you use as inspiration to build the interview prep platform for DataStacks.
No, I got feedback from DataStax, which was there before the end of Simple AI. So I got feedback for Analyza, and then I used that to inform our product of visualization, which
Okay,
we
so
completed in Simple AI.
okay, so DataStacks was the one that finished first. You got feedback on your interview prep platform that you guys used to build Visualization, which was your video analyzing platform. Okay, got it. Cool. So, okay, so basically what I asked was then a bit, I guess, wrong because it wasn't two different platforms. They were coherently related to each other in a way, right?
Right. Yeah. So
So is okay. So my question is that means there might be some repeatable process you found, right? That might be something that the judges liked or something that you guys thought like this is the process that we should take into account because this is something that seems right or it just clicked at that moment.
yeah, what I'd say is a repeatable process. Our repeatable process was taking inspiration from the idea, not the code, not the implementation.
Okay.
So we did this in this window, and then again when we participated in different hackathon the Red Hat and the Route Mobile hackathon. So we tried to repeat this framework that we used here, and we had the same results there as well.
So did you guys participate with the same projects there?
Not exactly the same project, again, kind of taking inspiration from one project. So we built Classly, which was online assistance, like e-class assistance platform, because
Hmm.
that was we made that product during COVID times.
Hmm.
That was kind of need of the hour. And
Hmm.
then participating in Red Hat, the problem statement was that they wanted us to use their OpenShift platform and and deploy our product there. And how could we integrate our product to that platform? So it was related, and we kind of went about it with
So
the same framework.
I actually just want to understand it a bit more deeply. When you say repeatable process and you say that your repeatable process was getting inspiration from your older ideas, like, I'm not still sure what that means. Like when you say, so you build a video analyzing platform, an interview prep platform, an e-class assistant, and I read what was the Red Hat one? It was integrating into OpenShift something.
Yeah, so they have this sandbox platform, OpenShift,
Yeah.
and you can deploy your applications there and integrate with their the databases and the infra that they have on OpenShift. So using that platform to deploy our.
So like what was so the repeatable process for you guys? Was it just understanding, building something sort of like an analyzing platform was the
So
repeatable process for you?
we used visualization and analyzer.
Hmm.
Then kind of used visualization in our classly, and then
Okay.
used our classly in the Red Hat class setup was the product that we made.
Okay. So it kind of ties it down to what I said earlier. Like a lot of people who go into these hackathons, they do understand that these problem statements, they know like what the judges want. Then basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Right. So building something what they want, and I think to win these hackathons also, I think there are a lot of similar ideas that could win because I think that is why you guys started using the same ideas again in the new hackathons as well. Maybe it could be a variation of it, but you guys did find like some specific stuff that basically tip the judges in a way.
Yeah, so the ideas that we used again, I'd say inspired by
Hmm.
the other ideas. Those ideas were validated by the judges because
Hmm.
we had won prizes for those ideas. So it was a common sense to use
Hmm.
inspired from those ideas. And I
Yeah.
mentioned at the beginning as well that the tracks play a good role in choosing a hackathon. So
Hmm.
you have to choose a hackathon that fits your use of like the idea.
Basically, fits the use of, let's say you guys took an interview prep platform, so you probably took a track where something like that would have been, perfect for the track, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Hmm. So, so this is something actually that's really interesting. So what I'm figuring out right now, like one of the steps, the most important step is you need to pick the right hackathons. And when you do pick a right hackathon, and let's say you build something that, let's say, judges liked. Let's say the first few hackathons are your trial ground. You go there, you try out some ideas that you liked, or you see what other people are building, what the winning teams have built. You see what they've built. Nobody's telling you to copy or take their ideas,
right.
but you can basically just take some sort of inspiration
Inspiration.
from those ideas and try to understand what they built and possibly try to put your own spin on it and try to present it out there as well. That could also be a winning strategy.
Right, true. Because you can copy a product to an extent. If you haven't put your mind to it, if you haven't put your heart to it, you'll not follow the journey as well and you'll not be able to finish. And
Hmm,
because of that, you have to copy, not copy, you have to take inspiration.
you're right.
There's a huge difference between those two.
Hmm. And I'm guessing also what I said about having a person with good communication skills would play a very big role in this because at least now you would need someone, let's say if you build the same kind of product a lot of the times, right? And you have some sort of muscle memory when you do present it to them. You understand when you say something, if the judges are actually liking it, whether they're not liking it, stuff like that as well. So over time, that also gets better when you try to explain the same thing multiple times to multiple judges, I guess. Let's move on from Symboli and data sacks. I think also I made one mistake because I'm writing my notes also over here. I think I wrote over here that you won both of them, but I think you came runner up, right?
Yeah, right.
So basically, what I want to ask right now is, from when we talked earlier, told me that in March you won an honorable mention. In September, you became a runner up in two hackathons, and in December you won first place, right? So I really do want to understand what kind of things did the December you know that the March you had no idea about. Like what happened in those 6 to 7, I guess 9 months, 9 months of a time frame where you went from not winning anything to getting an honorable mention in March to finally getting runner up in September to you started winning hackathons in December. So what happened over there?
March, me, the person I was in March, he had the idea and he had kind of the knowledge about how to go into hackathon and build the project. But in December, I could build anything, and I knew what was worth building, what was going
Hmm,
to be benefited in a hackathon, what was going to be awarded in a hackathon. And these two are two different problems, and you have to solve both.
got it. So earlier, your moat, as you said, was coding, that you thought that coding was getting prioritized. You should prioritize basically the coding aspect of it. But later on, you understood that ideation is the most important phase, and also with the repeated process of going through each and every hackathon, you understood what others are building. You understood what kind of products are winning and what kind of products are worth building, and what kind of products that the judges would like, or what kind of problem statements the judges would like. Right?
Right. And as you said, the coding is not the moot anymore. You mentioned again. I'd
Hmm.
say that the bottom and the top of the funnel are the mood now. The idea and the demo that you're showing to the judges. These two
Got
things
it.
are the mood now.
Perfect. So all of this is back in 2021 when we both were actually undergrad, and we didn't really have ChatGPT per se as accessibly as we have it now. Or I'm not even sure if we had ChatGPT back then. But what's still true in 2026? Because a lot of your knowledge is kind of outdated. According to me, I'm not saying outdated, but it might not be the right word, but it's like I'm guessing a bit old. But is the knowledge you provided right now, is it still relevant in 2026?
Very much so because I'd listed out. I
Hmm.
meant team, still number one.
Hmm.
The bonding and the synergy, you can't
Hmm.
replace it with the AI coding tools. You still need
Hmm.
people to work with. Second, idea. The idea was important back then and it is important now too.
Hmm.
And when you are going into a hackathon, you know that everyone can build, but the idea that you are bringing in, not everyone can think of, right?
Hmm.
The third thing I'd say is UI and UX.
Hmm.
Uh, Back then, it mattered, still it matters. The presentability, it's part, the UI UX is part of that
Got
presentability.
it. Hmm.
Fourth, the demo. Back then,
Hmm.
the demo was there, and you had the same amount of time to show what your product is about and basically what outcomes you are achieving. It's still the same. You're
Hmm.
still putting effort into building a great demo, a great presentation.
Tell
Fifth,
me one thing.
yeah.
When you do list out all of these things, how does team factor in this? Because if you have so many coding tools or AI tools out there, doesn't the team become redundant at this point?
So I think it has both advantages and disadvantages when you are going solo in a hackathon. Because on one hand, of course, there'll be less friction and you can just go in, implement your idea, use the AI coding tools that they have. You can consider the AI coding tool as a teammate of yours and just go back and forth. That is there. But then on the other hand, you will not have that valuable feedback that you will get from your team members. Um, and you'll be putting in more effort compared to a team that has two or three members, right? You can split the work there, but as a solo, uh, you are basically dependent on yourself and the AI coding tool, and you have no one else to go to. So
Hmm.
yeah, these are the advantages and disadvantages, and you can choose by yourself based on the work that you need to put into the hackathon, the kind of idea that you are implementing, and other stuff.
All right. So what's like something you were really genuinely proud of in 2021 that is just like free right now? Anyone can do it in an afternoon.
As I said, you could use AI, right? So the validation of ideas. So
Hmm.
earlier we used to ask our friends and other people for validation of our idea, and that was the state of the art available to us. But today,
Hmm.
at just one prompt, you can get market analysis, competitor gap, and target user base and finance
Hmm.
blueprint. You can just get it in one prompt. So I think that is a very huge difference between then and now. And yeah, that's it.
Basically, validation of ideas then.
Right. So so you are not thinking for 3 days about an idea brainstorm. Of course, there's
Hmm.
brainstorm, but you're not thinking that this idea will work or not. You can objectively get a response from an AI coding tool and just understand will this work or not in just 1 hour. So
Hmm.
that's really great.
Yeah. Basically, I guess what you're trying to say is earlier you had to talk to a lot of people to understand whether this is a good idea. Right now, you can just chat with ChatGPT and talk to it, get re-ask it questions, try to pick those holes that are out there, try to add those holes into ChatGPT as well, and try to understand from a complete level whether this could actually be something that wins or something that loses, right? Instead of actually just trying to ask someone, seeing if they like it, or just counting the number of people who say they who liked your idea, right? So I'm guessing it's something like that.
Yeah, as I said, the AI is so useful in bridging the gaps that you had, and
Hmm,
trying to look at an idea from different angles. AI is great at it. Even
got
even
it.
even though you are not an expert in those areas, right? And
Hmm.
that is where it plays a great part.
Okay, so tell me one thing. I just want to have some clarification because everybody now uses AI, right? And judges have seen like thousands of AI powered tools or demos out there. So like how do you stand out in a whole room when everybody has those tools?
Okay, so I'd say that everyone has those tools, but everyone doesn't have the same mind, right?
Hmm.
And this is where the factor of your thinking comes in, because your thinking compounds. A slightly better idea lands to a better scope and a
Hmm.
better demo and a better pitch. So small edge at the top, it creates a huge gap at the bottom, because there are so many branches that you can go into, right? That is where it becomes a differentiator. And that's why I said that again, the idea is the mood. Then
Hmm.
even if you are using AI to build your product, you can, there are so many possibilities that you can go in.
Hmm.
Even when everyone has the same tools, the tools stop being the variable. You are the variable.
Got it. Got it. And I was gonna ask you the next question over here, what could AI not do for you in a hackathon? So I'm guessing it's basically the ideation part. Again, you can talk to, let's say, Claude or ChatGPT to ideate something, I'm guessing, but it's not something that they could, like we discussed before, it's not something that, it'll be good at. You would need to tell it how you're thinking. You would need to come in with your experience where you've seen so many hackathons out there, you've participated in them, you've seen what people make, what judges like. Based on that, you'll probably give it some sort of prompt to help you with the ideation. So I'm guessing that's something that AI cannot possibly do for you. You'll have to use your brain in terms of the user flow, in terms of the design that you want, something that the judges want. All of them probably comes with experience of what's going on, what kind of things that people like. And I'm guessing that's also something AI can't help you with. So I won't ask you this. I'll move on to the next question. You know what? Rather tell me what's your thought on it. Like, do you have any other thing to add on this question?
I think you pretty much summed up it pretty well. Another thing I'd say that AI only has an average, and an average submission won't go on to win anything, right?
Hmm,
So I think that you can take home.
perfect. That sounds good. But let's let's take that. When you say average, now I also want to ask you, this takes me like perfectly into my next question. Like, where do people really overly rely on AI? Where do you think that they just stop using their brain completely and, it's like just ChatGPT all the way?
So I think that pretty much happens with everyone nowadays, that they start over relying on these AI assistants, the chatbots, the AI coding tools a bit too much, and they start outsourcing their choices, planning, design, reviewing. They all start delegating it to AI, and once it's the critical thinking that you've got, that kind of stops, that kind of atrophies. So you stop being able to tell whether the output is good or it is bad, but it is AI generated, so you think that it is a good output, because that has become a norm, right?
Hmm.
So that distinction is the entire thing.
Okay, so all of this right now, what we've discussed is about your journey into basically how you would build a team, how you would basically participate in a hackathon, how you would possibly think about winning one, how you would use different AI coding tools, how you'd present a demo, how you'd, you know, pitch the product to judges and stuff like that. But all of these were like some of your undergrad wins. I also want to understand, after undergrad, you worked for Byju's, then you went to CMU, and then we both are basically right now working as AI engineers over here in Tabby as interns. How did this all, help you? All of this experience in winning hackathons, how were they helpful for you?
Okay, so I won these hackathons during my undergrad, and then I'd say credibility is one thing that you can put on a profile and show it to people. A few things are there that you gain personally, on a personal level. So one of those things is the confidence that you get from winning such big hackathons among so many teams, right? Thousands of teams, and you are winning amongst them. You are getting prize money, and you are getting awarded for the value that you have created. So that holds on to you, that carries with you, and not just in the form of a bullet point on your resume, but on your back as as a person who has achieved something. And on the other hand, it brings credibility when you're talking about yourself in an interview and you're giving an introduction. You can say that I have done so and so. I have won so many hackathons among so many teams, and I've built so many products. Companies, the corporate culture loves that entrepreneurship mindset. And even when I went on to apply for CMU, even in the SOP, I listed all this. I mentioned all this, and I think that was one of the criteria because of which got into such an esteemed university.
Hmm.
So these all things build up and carry with you. These are still mentioned in my resume because they are such a great achievements, and not everyone has those. So these are the things that feed into your career for long term. It's not just a short term gain. And prize,
Hmm.
I'd say it's the least important thing for me.
Hmm.
I was winning hackathons. The most important thing was the experience and the achievement that I gained from it.
Got it. Perfect. So for a student out there, he has one weekend free. What do you suggest? Should he participate in a hackathon or should he just grind LeetCode to get a good job?
Yeah, this was a dilemma for even us when when we were thinking of going into hackathons, because at those times people were getting into summer internship and
Hmm.
other stuff. But then again, your mind goes to the thing that interests you. So
Hmm.
wanted to create something. We had this passion and determination of building something of value. Okay. So I'd say lead code is one narrow skill, and it is optimized for company interviews. And hackathons, on the other hand, it trains the whole loop. It tells you to pick up a problem and then scope it and build it and ship it, right? And then defend the idea, right? So for startups, especially in 2026, hackathons win the comparison. And
Hmm.
and they just want they because they want you to prove that you have done something of substance.
Hmm.
And that is where hackathons gain an edge. Lastly, I'd say that lead code and choosing between lead code and hackathon is totally depends on timing. If you have a company interview upcoming, then obviously you'll do lead code instead of going into hackathon. So it totally depends on the timing and not our preference, I'd say.
Yeah, I guess sometimes also participating in these hackathons could lead to job opportunities too. Like the Flipkart grid one that happens in India. If you probably win that, I think you get an internship there.
I didn't mention this before. Even I got the opportunity for an internship for my March hackathon,
Hmm.
and I in which I got an honorable mention. So I
Hmm.
got an internship opportunity with a company called Edgevantage, and that was a US based company. So obviously you get opportunities, different kind of, not just prize monies. You get different kind of opportunities, seed funding, and connection. In the Red Hat hackathon that I won in December, there I got chance to meet the Red Hat global product manager.
Hmm.
That's a big thing. And then getting press releases on you, and
Yeah.
blogs published on you, posts
Hmm.
published on you.
Yeah, getting a lot of digital footprint. Hmm. Perfect. So I guess people can then actually just, if it's a pretty big hackathon like this, like the Red Hat one or the Flipkart one or any of the bigger ones out there, you can possibly maybe make a case for not doing lead code a week and probably just go over there and try your luck out. Who knows, if you win, you could probably get a lot more very easily, I guess.
And I'm a very big proponent of learning by doing.
Yeah.
Hackathon is a place where you can apply and learn at the same time.
Hmm. Yeah. Perfect. Okay. So we're basically just closing this off now. So we're at the very last question. So for all the audience, I just want to play around with some of your experience and I want to ask you one question. So it's 2026 right now. We all have AI. How do you stand out in a hackathon? So I'll give you just 5 moves. So tell me that.
So my go-to moves would be: first, read the judging format, then the tracks, and then have an idea.
Okay.
Second, spend the first hours on the idea, not the repo.
Hmm.
Third, scope to the demo and then lock it.
Got it.
And fourth, make one deliberate human choice AI could never make.
One deliberate human choice AI could never make. Awesome.
So either feature or a design decision or framing. And
Hmm.
because that is the only thing that other people can't generate.
Got it. Hmm.
And fifth, deploy it and film it properly for the demo. Make it presentable.
Perfect. That's all the 5 moves for you guys. And this is the complete playbook Anmol used, guys. So this is exactly what I wanted out of this podcast and what I was hoping it to be. So if you're watching this and you've been sitting on the fence about doing a hackathon, I'd say just go and do one. That's the whole takeaway I'll take from this because there's no point in holding it off if you're interested. You've got some background after this podcast to, just understand what kind of mindset do you need and what kind of thought process you need before attending one. And I'll drop Anmol's links down below so you guys can go follow him and check him out. You guys can connect with him and ask him questions on LinkedIn, right? So, anything else, Anmol, do you want to add on this?
Just to add at the end, it was a great experience for you to bring me in, and I had a I had a good time talking to you, and there were some great questions that you asked. And again, I'd say the spirit of the hackathon is for you to learn and improve the skills that you have, and it's not just about the prize money. It's about you learning. That at the end of the day, that is what matters.
Perfect. Nothing more to be said then, guys. You learned it from him, and let's leave it at that. So until next time, guys.